Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes is a stealth action video game by Hideo Kojima. This is a prologue to The Phantom Pain, and a lot of the controversy about this stemming from its short nature is well-deserved. The main mission is very bare bones, and some of the issues that I have with it are that the first cutscene of 2 included cutscenes in the main mission, was shown in its entirety in a trailer already, and the ending cutscene was mostly shown in trailers. Like, all of the high points from the ending cutscene have already been shown in trailers. So that's kind of upsetting for a game from a series that is known for its cinematic style. Now, there are story elements that are told through cassette tapes that you unlock by completing missions or finding within levels, and it's nice to get some extra story, but a lot of people and a lot of the media have missed it because they have not gone through and listened to these tapes. The main mission boils down to go into Camp Omega, get Chico, get Paz, get out. Now, there are things you can do to beef up that experience, but my first playthrough, including fumbling with the controls, getting used to it, figuring out how everything works, getting acclimated and into the game, totaled of just over an hour and a half. You know, you take out the 15 minutes of screwing around just trying to get a feel for the game, and that's pretty short for the game's main attraction. The controls are amazing. I enjoy the interrogations. The challenges and trials, you can unlock extra stuff like, you know, fastest time for tagging all the guards with the binoculars, fastest time for killing all the birds. There's stuff to do that pads out the game. Finding cassette tapes, there's, I believe, 18 that you need to find that shed additional light to the story. There's a D-mic built into the binoculars, so if guards are speaking to each other, you can listen in and get a little bit of story that way, which I do enjoy the level of immersion that there are elements to the plot that you have to search for. You may miss them, and it gives you something to look around for on subsequent playthroughs. There's no boss fights. Something that I feel would have helped the game tremendously is, and, you know, there's no spoilers here because in trailers you've already seen Mother Base fall. At the end of the mission, when you return to Mother Base, it's under attack by XOF and is burning to the ground. Something that I think would have helped some of the criticism about the game's short length is if there was a boss fight on Mother Base, and if you could extract fallen comrades or some other sort of mission on Mother Base during the action, instead of just watching it fall and having no part in it at all. I think that would have helped a lot. Now, there's a lot of things that are traditional Metal Gear elements that have been removed from the game. There's no stealth camo as an unlockable, and as far as I know, this is the first Solid game that doesn't have stealth camo as an unlockable. Now, this being admittedly pretty much just a demo, maybe that has something to do with it, but the serious tone, I think they're going to take out a lot of the silly stuff, but I always love the stealth camo. It's a lot of fun to play with. There's no cigars, no, infrared beams to use the cigars with, but Big Boss should carry a cigar. There's no boxes. The radio is Peace Walker style radio, where if you hit the radio, Miller will tell you something, and if you zoom in with your binoculars, he will comment about whatever you're looking at, but there's no large cast of characters, no extra details through the codec, which I guess, that kind of sucks. There's no wall knocking, which is one of my favorite tactics. There's a million situations that I encountered where being able to tap on a wall and then slip around the other way would have helped out immensely. You can throw an empty magazine, which performs a similar function, but that's been in the game since I believe Metal Gear Solid 2, alongside the wall knock. There was no body checks or pat-downs that I could find. Like, when you subdue an enemy or kill them, you can't run their body down. You can't hold them up and run them down, at least not that I found. I did play the game as a rental, so I didn't have access to a manual, and the virtual digital manual that's included, I was not a fan of. This is kind of just a nitpicky thing. In Metal Gear Solid 3, Big Boss makes such a big deal about being able to switch from a gun to a knife in close quarters combat. It was such an integral part of the game, and he talked about it so passionately, and that's completely missing here. In Peace Walker, he had a little stun knife that you could use for CQC when also using a pistol. The guards don't have radios that can be shot. You know, this is something that's been in most Metal Gear Solid games, and if a guard sees you, if you've shut out the radio, they can't call for backup. In this game, they've gotten rid of that, and if you're spotted, it goes into slow motion, and you may be able to pop off a headshot, which I seem to be absolutely terrible at. That's why I like being able to take out a radio from a distance. Typically, it's not a big deal because I go for stealth and try to just avoid the enemies altogether. It just seems kind of crappy that they removed a staple of the series. There's no adult magazines for you to lay down to distract guards, which is one of those touches that it's very Metal Gear, and I've always enjoyed that. And, you know, that in tandem with the wall knock is very good strategy to disrupt a guard's pattern to slip by. So I kind of miss that. If you have a smartphone or a tablet for this, there's an iDroid app. Big Boss carries a handheld device with a map that is where you get your extra information. You get photos of specific targets that you're taking out. You can call in your helicopter and do lots of cool things. I set up my iPod Touch to where it was like sitting right in front of me on my desk, propped up at the correct angle. So I always had that real-time map running. And in one of the missions where you have to pick out a specific guard, I had the picture of his face so that, you know, while I was cruising around looking with my binoculars, I could just easily glance back and forth without having to open up a menu, which is really cool. The map updates in real time so you can watch tagged guards walk around. Now, a lot of people had an issue with that and thought it seemed like, oh, this is super casual, but this is what's replacing the Soliton radar, which on most difficulties was present in the game. And it not only did it show you their location, it showed you their field of vision. So this actually doesn't show their exact field of vision. It just shows you, you know, where the guard is, what direction they're looking. You have to observe the guard first. You have to tag them with the binoculars. So I think it's a little bit less casual. It was really interesting and I enjoyed it. Using the binoculars to tag enemies adds a feeling of gathering intelligence. I think it works really well with a stealth-based game, so I enjoyed it. Being able to call in a helicopter with a POW over your shoulders by using the app keeps the game fluid, so you can keep moving while you're calling in and telling your helicopter where to go. I enjoyed that. Unlocked tapes can be listened to within the app, which is pretty neat. There's lots of information within the tapes, as well as music. There's also a mode where you can build up Mother Base, which is pretty cool. I'm not exactly sure how everything's unlocked, but you level up Mother Base, you build new struts, you recruit soldiers, you upgrade the struts, you complete missions. It's very much like the side games in Peace Walker. So if you enjoyed building Mother Base and sending your guys on outer ops in Peace Walker, you're going to feel right at home with the Mother Base minigame. Something that I think would have helped the game is adding a little more mission variety. There's only the 6 missions, and a lot of them are very samey. Like, there's this one where you have to go in and extract 2 wanted fugitives that found a legal loophole, and they're on this military base. And, you know, you go in, and you can either kill them, or you can extract them. So, killing them's the easy way out. You just go in, you kill them, you run around, you kill the other guy. Not that big of a deal. Or you can knock them out and take them back to the helicopter, and you get a little bit of information and a nice little bit of story about those characters. It's pretty cool, but that's basically the Ground Zeroes mission, just in the daytime, and your targets are moving around instead of in a fixed position, so there's not a lot of variety there. Going in, getting a tape, and getting out, there's a lot of just go in, get a thing, get out. I don't think there's a lot of variety there. There's a mission where you cruise around in a helicopter, and you do get to fight an armored vehicle, and that's the closest thing you get to a boss in this game, and then you extract someone. So there's a theme of just going in and getting people out. I think there could have been a little more variety. Maybe thrown in a boss at the end of the Ground Zeroes mission. That would have been really helpful. There's one mission where everything's on high alert and you have to destroy a few weapons platforms. So that's really the most variety you get here. The side challenges where you, like, you know, collect XOF badges, kill crows, you know, mark soldiers. That adds a little bit of variety, but I don't know. It feels like there could have been something more to it. Now, it feels like I'm complaining quite a bit, but I really love the game, and I spent a lot of hours with it. I rented it from a Redbox, and I spent across 2.5 days, I spent about 24 hours with it. So I do that when I rent from Redbox because, you know, you're being charged by the day. So I like to do nothing but play those games until I return it. But I had a lot of fun. I did find a lot of cool things. The Dejavu Mission is probably the coolest mission. You run around and you try to recreate scenes from the original Metal Gear Solid. You can unlock a Gray Fox skin, and you run a lot faster. It's similar to the Raiden mission on the Xbox version of the game, where you can run around with the lightning, and that's a lot of fun. I believe you actually run faster than the vehicles. It was really enjoyable, and that was a nice extra. Overall, I really enjoyed the game, and $20 is definitely a fair price, but I'm a person that prefers the physical games, so $30 is definitely worth it, but I'm a huge Metal Gear fan and a collector of this series, so it was inevitable that I was going to buy it anyway. If you're not a big Metal Gear Solid fan, this may not be for you. If you're looking to just complete the main story, well, you're going to be very disappointed. The fun comes from going back into the missions and trying new strategies, exploring Camp Omega, which it seems like a fairly sizable base at first. There's really not much to explore. There's not a lot of buildings to go in. Once you get into the main control area, there's only one area where you go in, and it's kind of like, you know, sewers and generators and nothing that exciting. There's no offices or, you know, there's just not that much inside. And there's a couple of weapons storerooms, but there's really not that much to explore and interact with on Camp Omega itself, which I kind of felt was lackluster. If there was a lot more areas inside the buildings to explore, and like maybe some Easter eggs and interesting items hidden within, that would have enhanced my enjoyment a little bit. Completing the game, 100%ing it, S-ranking everything on the higher difficulty. I'm going to have a good time with it. Your mileage may vary. If you're a hardcore Metal Gear fan, you should probably just get the download, unless you do care about purchasing a physical copy, in which case, I think $20 is the perfect price point, but, you know, $30 ain't that bad for what you're getting.